In 2015, when I walked into a Delhi government school for the first time, what do you think is the first thing that I noticed? You probably won't be able to guess, because there was nothing educational. The first thing that I noticed when I stepped into a Delhi government school was the smell of the toilet. You could smell the stench of the toilet from 50 meters away. And outside this toilet, whose stench traveled 50 meters, because of a shortage of classrooms, 50 students were sitting in the corridor outside that toilet, and a teacher was taking a class. This was the state of Delhi government schools in 2015. Fast forward to 2020. Number one, Delhi government schools have been outperforming private schools for 3 years in a row in the class 12 board exams. 2020, more than 500 students from Delhi government schools cleared the NEET exam and are now on their way to study in some of the best medical institutions across the country. 2020, more than 350 students from Delhi government schools have cleared the IIT JEE exams and are on their way to some of the best engineering colleges across the country. So what did it take for this transformation to happen? And that is where I think that the TEDx topic for today, Embracing Entropy, becomes important for anyone who is looking to be a part of social change, who is looking to bring about a public policy transformation. Because this Delhi government school system, more than 1,000 schools, 1,000 plus principals, 50,000 teachers, 16 lakh students, their entire families, it was this entire structure that had to be moved and taken along. And so a lot of uncertainty came with every stakeholder in the system. But every stakeholder, along with bringing uncertainty, also brought their own strength to the system. And I think that the transformation in Delhi government schools was made possible because we took all of these stakeholders along. One of the first things that we realized, that when the condition of schools was so bad that you could smell the toilet from 50 meters away, was that there was no sense of dignity both for the students or the teachers who were a part of this school. For the child who walked into a school where the toilet was dirty, where windows were broken, where fans were broken, where lights were broken, where desks were broken, when they walked into that school, they were given a very clear message that you are a second-class citizen and you don't matter in the world. It's only children who are studying in those shiny, swanky schools who are going to make it somewhere in the world. Teachers were also given a clear message by this rundown infrastructure that the government doesn't care about government schools or the children studying in them. So you just have to go to the schools, mark your attendance. No one is taking the education of these poor children seriously. And this is where the transformation began. The transformation began by bringing dignity into the school by two simple things: by cleaning the schools and making sure they had proper infrastructure. In the first 2 years, we spent all our time and our energy just making sure schools were clean. And I used to sometimes joke to the education minister, as whose advisor I was working. I used to sometimes joke and say to him that sometimes I think that I don't work in the education department, but I work in the sanitation department. Given the fact that all the time we used to discuss how many sanitation staff do you need, how much soap do you need, how much Harpic do you need, how many phenyl bottles do you need, if you have to keep a school clean. But this is something that definitely worked. In about 2 years' time, as the infrastructure began to improve, as new desks were brought in, as schools were kept clean, you could all of a sudden see a shift in the body language of the students who were studying in that school. No longer did they enter schools slouched, not looking at you, not making eye contact. You had children walking into schools with confidence, a school that they felt proud of. Teachers walking into the school with confidence to a school that they felt proud of. So this was the first change, ensuring dignity returned to the stakeholders who were part of that school. The second major change that we brought about, which caused this transformation over the 5-year period, was involving all the stakeholders who were a part of the school. Be it parents, be it children, be it teachers, be it the larger community. I think parents especially were one set of stakeholders who were really looked down upon by the school. This also had to do with the class divide of the children who were studying in the schools and the teachers and principals who were actually running the schools. Now, the salary of a principal of a government school is approximately around 1 lakh rupees. For a teacher, maybe around 80,000 rupees. What about a parent? Many of the children who are coming into government schools, their parents are domestic workers. They might be vegetable vendors, drivers, working as assistants in shops. So for someone who is barely making them ends meet, someone who's barely making minimum wages, someone who's probably not educated themselves, they used to have a sense of hesitation when entering the school. And as a consequence, when parents were not involved in the educational process, when parents probably did not even know whether their children reached school or did not reach school, what was the consequence? The consequence was that there was no participation of children, of the parents, in their entire children's education process. We started parent-teacher meetings in Delhi government schools. We started inviting parents to participate in the school processes. We started inviting parents to meet the teachers and actually hear from them what the children were doing. When we had the first parent-teacher meeting, we were very worried because everyone in the system used to tell us, oh, इन बच्चों के पेरेंट्स तो स्कूल में आते नहीं हैं, वो तो सिर्फ उसी दिन आते हैं जिस दिन स्कॉलरशिप बढ़ती है, या इन बच्चों के पेरेंट्स तो स्कूल में आते नहीं हैं, इन बच्चों को तो सिर्फ मिड डे मील खाने के लिए भेजते हैं. But we really hoped that parents would come and participate, and there was a deep-seated belief in our minds that every parent wants the best for their child. So we organized a parent-teacher meeting on a Sunday because we knew the fact that most of these parents were working parents. We sent handmade invitation cards to all the parents. On the day of the first parent-teacher meeting, as luck would have it, it started raining heavily. It was the monsoon season. So you're extremely worried that we are going to have egg on our face and no parents are actually going to turn up. But when the education minister and I, we were going from one school to the second to the third to see how the parent-teacher meeting was going on, it was a touching sight. You could see that despite the heavy rain, all parents were thronging to the schools, standing in line to meet their children's teachers. Not just that, these may have been parents coming from extremely poor sections of society. And yet when they came for the parent-teacher meeting, they were wearing their best clothes because they wanted to put their best foot forward when they went into their children's school. This parent-teacher meeting brought about a new chemistry between the parents and the teachers. For the first time, teachers began to look at parents more empathetically, understanding the difficult backgrounds they came from. Parents also began to understand more about their children's education. A little after the parent-teacher meeting started for the first time, I was speaking to a class 9 student in one of Delhi's girls' schools, which is in the outer parts of Delhi, one of Delhi's urban villages. And this one girl said to me that जब से ये parent-teacher meeting शुरू हुई है, उससे पहले मैं जब भी घर जाती थी तो मैं मम्मी का हाथ बटाती थी काम में, घर में खाना बनाना, बर्तन धोना, साफ सफाई करना. जब से ये parent-teacher meeting start हुई है और मेरे टीचर ने मम्मी को बताया है कि मैं पढ़ाई में बहुत अच्छी हूँ, जब मैं घर जाती हूँ तो मेरी मम्मी कहती हैं, बेटा काम मैं कर लूँगी, तुम पढ़ाई कर लो. So for the first time, a parent who was not educated themselves became a part of the children's learning process. And when lakhs and lakhs of these parents began to get involved in their children's education, that is where a transformation started beginning. Third, the major change that we brought in, we realized that it was the people within the system itself who could be change makers. We did not need to bring in people from outside. We did not need to bring in experts. We did not need to bring in academics, non-profits to lead the change in the system. We needed to empower the teachers and the principals from within the system. In every institution, you have a normal distribution curve, where you have 20% of people who are outstanding. And so you had these outstanding teachers and principals who would really make an effort with their students. You had the bottom 20% who were a total disaster. Anything you do, you could probably not end up transforming them. But the culture of the institution was really set by the middle 60%. And where did these middle 60% go? These middle 60% went whichever way the wind was blowing. So before 2015, before you had a government that was interested in transforming schools, the middle 60% went towards the bottom 20%. They were not interested in teaching. They would come into the classrooms, just while away their time. What happened after 2015? After 2015, there began to be a change in the system that a lot of creativity was rewarded, a lot of creativity was recognized. Investment was made in teacher training systems. Some of our teachers and principals were sent abroad to some of the best institutions across the country, to Harvard, to Cambridge. Principals went to IIM Ahmedabad to undergo training. And gradually the culture began to shift in favor of the top 20%. As all our principals went for their trainings to IIM Ahmedabad, as all our teachers got trained by mentor teachers who sat in their classrooms, observed the classroom, this gradual culture shift started happening, where this middle 60% also began to take pride in their teaching. And this is where we stand today. A system where parents participate, a system where teachers are empowered, a system where principals see schools as their own, and where everyone feels a sense of dignity in the system. Do we have a long way to go? Yes. Have we completed everything that needed to be done? No. But this transformation of the last 5 years has brought forth one lesson, that change is possible. Thank you.